What if I told you that Kanto is the best region ever created? Most of you would probably go,
Well, Marco, of course it's the best. It has all of the last generation's dreams and childhoods in it.
well, today's we are smashing these childhood dreams by brutally ranking the first 151 Pokemon ever created from worst to best. This list will be based on three major factors. The first criteria is the model of each Pokemon, so basically if they look good or not. The second criteria is the representation this Pokemon had in animes or films. Pretty important since charisma is a good part of the Pokemon's personality. And the last criteria is the originality of the concepts linked to the Pokemon model. But be aware that sometimes simplicity is better than originality, therefore this criteria is less important. Additionally, every time I think two Pokemon are equal, I'm going to use their strategic viability in doubles to separate them. Without further ado, let's get into it. The first tier we're going to be looking at is the bottom of the barrel. The absolute ugliest set of Pokemon in this generation. You know they are gonna end in this tier with just a single glance. I mean, just look at them, they're a bunch of degenerates. Some of them are more valuable in combat than they are in looks, like Dugtrio. Using his Arena Trap ability, Dugtrio can really be of use against pivots, even if he looks like a sausage. I'm also going to let you guys guess why these two are at the bottom of the list. Some other controversial pick would be the ones at the top of the tier. Dojo and Ammonite lines. In my opinion, Dojo is just an abomination. It looks like a Natu that lost every ounce of normality by being exposed to radiation. And Ammonite is by far the worst fossil, especially in this gen. Kabuto is way cooler, while Ammonite has no strategic viability. Looks awful and isn't really original. At least he takes the top place because of his fossil title. Let's move on to the next tier. This one is pretty much filled with forgotten Pokemon. These are Pokemon that no one really chases, but they exist for sure and probably have a small fan base. Here they are. Many of these choices are still viable in a lot of cases. It's just that their design isn't good enough or too weird, like Executor or even Weezing. Some have crazy evolutions and backstories, but they don't have the design to back it up. Good examples would include Magikarp, Mankey, Pidgeotto, and a lot more. But the Pokemons that will probably surprise you guys the most are Charmeleon and Mankey. Mankey is pretty horrible looking. I personally don't find this guy's concept interesting. It's like if they took a monkey and made it angry. That's it. Originality, 0 points. But don't worry about Primate, he's higher up than his son. A similar case is seen through Charmeleon. Charmander and Charizard's designs are so good that it just makes this poor guy look awful. Honestly, tell me this fingerhead doesn't deserve a C tier. Now we're reaching the middle tier. These Pokemons are the ones that are appealing, but not to everyone. Usually these Pokemon get medium attention from fans and have their specialized fan bases. Here are our concurrents. As you can see, we have many expected Pokemon like the Staryu line or Magnemite line. Wait, Magnemite? Why is he in B? Well, let me explain my way of thinking. I've always seen Magnemite as the Pokemon that's not awesome, evolving into 3 times himself and then evolving into a crazy cool Magnezone. Don't get me wrong, he's not ugly, but without Magnezone carrying him and his evolution, he's kind of bad in this tier list. Generally, this tier is full of Pokemon that are more subjective, which means that it really depends on the actual person making the list if they're higher or lower. So I'm not going to explain to you during 100 years why I think Venusaur looks derpy, Mega Charizard Y looks goofy, just like Mega Alakazam. I'm just going to highlight the most important parts. The lowest ranking Mega is actually in this tier, and it is unsurprisingly Pinsir, and Scyther made it to the top without even needing its evolution. Golduck ended below his son mainly because of the anime and films, even if Meowth's lame ass made it to B because of its anime representation too. That's pretty much it for this tier if you ignore the evolutions being almost complete. Don't worry about Jolteon and Eevee, they're just a bit higher up. When you start your journey as a Pokemon trainer, you expect crazy encounters. Pokemon that will surprise you when evolving, or just Pokemon that you want to see at their next stage. Well, the A tier fills all of those expectations, or deceives them. Crazy entries are all over the place. Mega Pidgeot with an awesome glow up, Articuno having surpassed the other two birds in my heart, Mega Venusaur exchanging derpiness for straight drip, Gengar, Gyarados, Ninetales, Poliwrath, the big names are just endless. But what about small names? Well, Psyduck surprises everyone by being at the top of this list, and I kinda put him there because of the last he would create either in the films or in the series. Voltorb makes its way into A tier for its awesome concept and being clean, unlike a certain evolution. Vileplume scraping the top while its children are just down at the bottom. Really not a good parent. And finally, the highest ranking fossil is in this tier without any surprise being Kabutops. Generally, whether or not a Pokemon is A or S tier depends on you guys, but none of these A tiers really deserve a B in my world. Here we are, the cream of the crop. The most stylish set of Pokemon of this entire list. The S tier. I'm going to list them from worst to best, starting with Jigglypuff. This character's puffy round design is so simple yet so powerful, and his actual role in the normal basic anime benefits him because he gives you hours of laughter, similarly to Psyduck. Next is Sandshrew and Cubone. Both of these little guys have made it into the S tier solely because of their cuteness. The only reason Cubone is higher than Sandshrew is because of its backstory, which is more developed than most Pokemon. Then we have a series of cute, iconic Pokemon. First Growlithe, then Eevee, then Charmander, and then Squirtle. These four are such a cute cast of Pokemon. Honestly, as a Kanto fan, I would be proud of them. We have a direct follow-up to Growlithe, being its evolution Arcanine. This line sparks consistency and power, being the only evolution line in my tier list completely in S tier, except non-evolving Pokemon. I mean, just look at Arcanine's entry and tell me it's not badass. The next Pokemon is a classic, Mewtwo. Do I really have to say anything about this guy? With the 3,000 million films he has made and centered onto him. Number 7 is biased, and it is Jolteon. Listen guys, I had to put him up here, since he's my favorite electric type, and probably the best evolution, in my opinion. At top 6 we have an absolute GOAT, Snorlax. Just look at him eating. Bro doesn't even fight seriously and still wins. He deserves to be on this list in the S tier. At top 5 is a popular Pokemon, being Mew. Thanks to his cuteness and his funny nature, I think Mew deserves to be higher than Mewtwo. At 3rd and 4th we have both Charizard and Blastoise. 2 GOATs, 1 tier, do I have to say more? At 2nd, we have the VGC Master and pseudo legendary of this game, Dragonite. Using sheer power, Dragonite has forced its way straight to S tier, but he couldn't defeat the last Pokemon. You've seen it, the thumbnail. Our top 1 on this list is obviously Mega Charizard X. That's it for today, folks. I'd like to hear about you guys' thoughts down in the comments. Which Pokemon you would have moved up or down in my tier list and why. Without further ado, see you guys in the next one. Peace!